Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Red Zone, our very own sports show brought to you by This is Revolution Podcast. I am your host, Jason Miles, and I'm thrilled to have you with us this evening. If you are new to the channel, welcome. So glad you're here. For our returning listeners, subscribers, and of course, our very valued patrons. Well, right. You are the driving force behind the TIR machine. We could not do this without y'all. Just a quick reminder, we did a stream earlier today with Pascal and Kuba where we discussed what may be lying beneath the daytime talk show-like exchange between Trump, his VP J.D. Vance, and the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky. That's not his name. Said it wrong. But that's up now on the live stream playlist we have on YouTube, so make sure to check that out. Also, for viewers of the main show, Kayfabe Episode 1 is live as well as all the other TIR video essays on Means TV. Last night in the Champagne Room, we played the Personal Jesus, the Seduction of Philanthrocapitalism video essay. But to view all video essays as well as all the other amazing content that Means TV hosts, go to meanstv.com and enter discount code This is Revolution and receive 20% off a monthly or yearly subscription. Now, on to sports talk. Once again, the NFL season is over, but the postseason content is underway, and by that I mean the NFL Scouting Combine. Once upon a time, the Scouting Combine was a private, invite-only, closed-to-the-public event. NFL coaches and scouts would test the incoming crop of top prospects, a day where the entire league could converge in one location to see what these young athletes had to offer. Unlike pro days, which scouts and coaches fly all over the country to attend, the Combine provides a centralized location of talent. Now, the NFL Combine has become part of the league's postseason year-round coverage. No other sport has managed to monetize its offseason quite like the NFL. Most of the workout metrics we see analyzed by the on-site announcers and the sports pundits are already known through things like wearable technology and, of course, scouting. It's not like seeing a quarterback run a 40-yard dash in shorts is going to be the deciding factor where you draft them, but the Combine is a great hype machine for lower-tier talent that either went to a small school or didn't get big-time national attention. It's part of the drama that sells the Combine as must-see television for the serious football fan. But how important is an offensive lineman's 40 time? NFL scouts since the beginning of the 2024 college football season believe that Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward will be the first two quarterbacks off the board. But much like in 2023, when C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young were the consensus 1 and 2, who will be this year's Anthony Richardson? Being that Richardson has yet to show round one potential, which team will reach for a QB in the first round? I have comprised a list of names of guys who pundits are discussing who might be able to move up some draft boards. On my short list, I have Tyler Slow from Louisville, Riley Leonard of Notre Dame, national champion Will Howard, Ole Miss's Jackson Dart, and Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. One or more of these guys may move up the draft board and find themselves a day one pick. As far as the wide receiver position, so many guys ran sub 4.4 times that I don't know if the Combine really is the great standard to decide where they will get picked. Some of my favorite guys to go on day one are Terriora. I'm probably saying his name wrong. McMillan, he was number 4 at Arizona. He's my favorite wide receiver. Emeka Egbuka, Eric Iandor from Stanford, and the small, sure-handed wide receiver out of the U, Xavier Restrepo. They may not have lit the track on fire, but these guys came up in big games, have great hands, and ridiculously savvy separation ability. But to discuss this with me and so much more is my sports co-host, my sports homie, my real-life dog, Macadocious Rex.
What is up, y'all? Your boy's coming off the IR.
Literally.
Had the goddamn flu, man. Should beat me up. Like, I got
Um,
my beard trimmed this weekend. I was looking
look
all
good.
good, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, it's gonna be a great week." I got through Monday, and then Tuesday morning, I was just like, "Bleh."
No, that's the worst, dude.
Yeah, man,
It is
just
the
fucked
worst.
my shit up. Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Emeka Egbuka, who I've
Mhm,
watched for 4 years
mhm.
at Ohio State, not a burner,
No.
but my dude, you can throw the ball within 10 feet of him, he's gonna come down with it.
Do you feel though that the NFL game has changed a bit? And when I say that, I mean I was watching some highlights from the 2000s, and I was thinking about some of the wide receivers that came out in the 2000s and the 2010s when everybody was looking for a 6'4", 220 guy.
Mhm.
And we have a small handful of those dudes, but they're not dominant. We haven't seen uh, 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 a Megatron or what is the kid? I think he just retired recently.
Well, dude, I mean, like, this is the thing. Calvin Johnson was a
Mhm.
once in a lifetime player,
Sure,
right? And people forget that he played at Georgia Tech during the Paul Johnson years.
triple option.
So he did not catch a lot of balls, but when he caught them, it was, highlight reel shit. And that's because he was a man playing amongst boys. Um, and it was even that way in Detroit. Like, he had some real bums thrown to him, and the guy just put up 1,000-yard seasons and 10 to 15 touchdowns every year. There's a reason he's a Hall of Famer. You put him on any other team in the time period he played, man, like, he'd be chasing Jerry Rice numbers, like, facts.
I mean, Demetrius Thomas, who comes out the following year. If it's not the following year, so maybe 2 or 3 years later, but I remember Thomas comes out also with that same system. Similar builds.
Mhm.
Uh, I of course, Megatron has a better skill set, and Thomas plays his first few years with, some, I guess we'll say, not Peyton Manning. He
Yeah,
plays his first
yeah.
let's just say not Peyton Manning, let's just be nice.
Mhm.
But, by the time Peyton Manning gets there, we really see, how I don't wanna say great, but really good because he had a run where he was really good.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, Paul Johnson knew how to recruit, right? Like, the dude started out at Navy and kinda started their renaissance before passing it off to, Ken, Niumatalolo, but he got guys to play at Georgia Tech. He was never gonna like, Georgia Tech's never gonna be a big winner unless you play, like, NCAA football on PlayStation, right? And it's kinda surprising because they're right outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, how
They're
do
the
you
ones
not
that are closer to Atlanta. It's not,
Yeah, it's not UGA,
no, they're too
and I
far.
never understood how Georgia Tech doesn't recruit Atlanta as well as they should, and, like, being that you're that close to Florida, yeah, you're kinda chasing after, like, UF and Florida State, Miami castoffs, but, like, those castoffs that come out of Florida are better than, like, fucking 80% of the high school talent in the rest of the country, like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I would be doing, man, um,
I
but
mean, but it feels like those guys, those big targets that actually could burn, and would definitely beat you downfield. The game, the matriculation of the ball, the short passing game, the diagonal passing game has really, really changed the way you look at receivers, especially with a guy like Tyreek Hill being so in demand
I
and
think
so
it I think
small.
it has a lot more to do with the fact that the field spread out more,
Yeah.
right? When Megatron's playing, you needed Megatron to essentially get off his man and then just get downfield,
Yep.
right? Now, and that's because they were playing what, 2 wideouts, tight end, running back, sometimes a fullback, right?
Mhm.
Now, I mean, the fullback's essentially extinct. Um, you might have an H back who can flip flop from the offense, moving from a down tight end to being down in the backfield, right? And especially with a lot of these tight ends, they're just wide receivers, you know. Um, and I think you're probably like I think what really has helped like spreading the field out and like running four wide be accepted is wide receivers are much better blockers than they used to be.
And
Uh,
like blocking.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. When you look at a guy like Jeremiah Smith, you know, who looked like a man amongst boys for much of the season in Columbus, like he blocks very well downfield. Abuka is one of the best downfield blockers I've ever seen. But these guys, they know that blocking is an important part of the game because you're not playing as many tight ends. You're not playing a fullback at all. So if they want, just look at what Philly did, right? They managed to win a Super Bowl um, in a dominant fashion, mind you, behind one of the best seasons ever from a running back. And you can't just say it's all on Saquon. I mean, Saquon will even say that. It's about the people blocking in front of him that made those holes and held blocks downfield. So that's something that wideouts now didn't have back, when you or I were in our younger, more spry years. People like to point out Hines Ward. Yeah, he was the exception, not the rule.
Thank you.
You know,
The league is all Hines now.
yeah, everybody's blocking well.
Everybody, but they're enjoying the blocking. It almost feels like these wide receivers are almost converted DBs, and they enjoy the contact. So, I guess for me, the question is the days of the Bill Bellamy receiver over? The any given Sunday.
I mean, probably, man, because you don't need guys like that anymore, right? What you need is, you need a wide receiver one, that guy that you can get the ball to no matter what,
No matter
right? Like Jamar Chase, bam, wide prototypical wide receiver one. And somehow Cincinnati fucked around, ended up with two wide receiver ones, and they still ain't won shit with it. That's
and a
Jamar.
number one quarterback.
Yeah, that's Jamar and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you don't spend money on defense.
Mm.
And you're able to put up almost 40 points a game and you lose all 5 of those. Well done, Cincy. Not quite Cleveland Browns ineptitude, but you're pushing it, bro. But that guy's just not needed anymore, right? Especially with kind of every team needs a slot receiver now, right?
Yeah.
And you can blame the Patriots for that. Some of their best pass catchers have been slot guys, Troy Brown, freaking Julian Edelman, right? These were Brady's number one targets, and it's because he could check downfield, see if that bigger dude.
Randy Moss was open.
Like, dude, Randy Moss was one of those once in a lifetime talents as well, right? But he knew if he can look, do his first check that his first option is not open, and it was Randy Moss, and it went to Gronk. He immediately can check down, and that slot receiver's right there, right? You need those guys. Let's face it, Christian Kirk out of A&M, he just got released by the Jags, started out in Arizona, signed a big free agent deal with Jacksonville, just got released. He's built like that. Like he looks like a comic book character. Never could stay healthy and never really produced. So like those type of guys it's an anachronism in the game now. And you got to think how big our game's changed when, you're seeing leaner, faster, and yet somehow still stronger offensive linemen. Remember when Robert Galley out of Iowa was taken like 2 overall by the Raiders?
I do remember that very vividly.
And remember, he wasn't built like an offensive lineman. He looked more like a power lifter, right? And that was the exception, not the rule. Now, you can sit there and make fun of a lot of these, oh, what's up, fat body, big dudes in the trench. They're really not anywhere near as fat boy as they were back in our day.
That's what I'm saying. Like the game looks a lot different. Everybody's really agile. Everyone's really athletic. Like watching all these wide receivers just fly down the field or the track for the 40 time. And I don't think 40 time is that big of a factor because you're never going to have a clean start.
No.
How do you get off press coverage? Can you recognize coverage? Like the combine is just for people like us to talk about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's also a way for scouts to discriminate, like maybe find reasons to not draft players they don't like.
sabotage.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that one kid from Alabama, they're like his arms are too short. He was just a road grader when he was in school. Why does that fucking matter? Somehow Jalen Milroe's hands got bigger by three quarters of an inch from the Senior
Really?
Bowl to the combine. Yeah.
Oh, he was doing his human growth hormone.
Yeah, dude, and it's just like a lot of these things are fudged, when you're looking, I mean, when you're looking at measurements,
Yeah.
you know, um, but it's I think it's a discriminatory tool. Like that kid from Bama, like I said, they said his arms were too short. And it's like, dude, he had one of the highest grades out of any offensive lineman in the country. I don't
Mhm.
think his short arms were a detriment to him playing good football,
Yeah.
right? And especially now when you have a lot of guys that run like zone blocking, you don't need long arms for that shit. It's about getting off the ball and getting to your man as quick as possible. It's not about keeping him at arm's length. You know what I mean? It's just some of these scouts, and this is kind of like where teams have to learn to thread the needle.
Hmm.
They lean too far into analytics or too far into this like old school measurement bullshit. You know, use a little of both, and I think you're going to come out better. I don't like full analytics front offices. I think they kind of fall flat. Like, look at the Browns, case in point. Andrew Berry is an analytics fucking douche. Paul DePodesta is like the chief strategy officer for the Browns. And you know where he cut his teeth? The Los Angeles Dodgers,
Yeah.
right? Like, analytics, I blame Billy Bean a lot for it.
Yep. That's fair.
Even though, he put good teams on the field for a long time with, change we picked up from the couch and maybe the cup holder in your car, right? But, and you can't run a whole team on analytics for long periods of time. And I think, Moneyball showed that. They had their time in the sun, but when you needed runs in the playoffs, was Oakland able to do that after like
Yeah.
Gian B, and who was that? Eric Chavez. Once those guys all left, fuck no.
No.
Right? You got to be able to bash a little bit, right? It's just like in football. Yeah, it's great if you can get, 4 or 5 yards every play. You're going to kill a lot of clock time, you know, but the fact of the matter is sometimes you need a dude that can hit a home run, like rip off a 60-yard run or catch a 60-yard pass for a touchdown, big plays. Um, and I think so many front office people just don't believe that. And especially now when you and I literally grew up with the NFL when it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust
Yeah.
every fucking play.
Yeah.
It's a better TV product when you can have somebody that can stretch a field like Jamar Chase, like Stephon Diggs before he thought he was a second coming of Christ. And it's like, bro, Chase is better than you. T. Higgins is better than you. There's a lot
A
of
lot
dudes.
of people are better.
Justin Jefferson, like, come on, dude.
Don't
Like,
let one catch,
I mean, he had a fucking phenomenal run in Minnesota, right? He gets to Buffalo, has a good year or two, and then it's just like, pay me, bitch. And it's like, oh, yeah. And dude, that's the thing, Nuri. Analytics is filtered into every fucking sport, and it drives me nuts. Just drives me nuts. And Tony, I like parity in the league. I think it's great when a team can kind of come out of nowhere and win it or be very competitive until the very end. The sad thing is this: we're getting to a point in major professional sports where it's only 5 or 6 teams are in it and going to have the ability to be there at the end of the season. That's the sad part. Like the Guardians, dude, had the third most wins in Major League Baseball since 2016 or 2014. And I hate to be this dude. They got shit to show for it. Like hanging AL Central pennants, champ pennants in the stadium. That's great. But we can't get past the Yankees. And who's getting the fuck past the Dodgers these days? Nobody.
Oof. That's it. Right now, especially right now with the addition of Suzuki. Is that his last name? Right? Yeah.
Sasaki.
Sasaki. I want to ask. No, Jesus, please don't be mad at me, Japan.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry.
We have enough people angry at us as, Jason's an expat American. I'm still here. Like the Canadian. How did we piss off Canada so much?
I tried. I'm trying to make it right. I'm going to have a Canadian on in the next couple of weeks.
God, we got to do something. because I watched Elimination Chamber this weekend, dude, and fucking Pat McAfee, who I cannot stand. I hate that WWE hired him. Was just
Oh,
bitching.
really?
Yeah, and keep in mind, oh, dude, he's been working with WWE for years, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he calls Monday Night Raw. But it was in Toronto, and he's just like, I can't believe all these people are sitting here booing the national anthem. I love America. And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Pat McAfee, I have to kind of give him props for turning a very forgettable football career into the most important post-football career because of the internet. Like, he used the internet properly in that
Dude,
guy.
yeah, his show.
Yeah.
So, see, it's him talking and AJ Hawk just sitting there like this.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
And it's just like, dude, AJ, you're playing into the stereotype that Ohio State linebackers are morons because, God, we had a string of them. Katzenmoyer, Hawk, fucking Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis, the wrestler's son.
Yeah, the wrestler's son. And the thing
Road
is,
Warriors. Yeah.
the thing is, dude, it's like, I love Jimmy Laurinaitis, and he's done a phenomenal job as linebackers coach at Ohio State. But listening to him talk, you're just like, it's all monosyllables for words. Every fucking one of them, dude. You know.
Well, let me ask you about some. You want to go wide receivers or QBs first?
Let's go wide receivers.
Let me ask you about some wide receivers. Only a small handful because you only have a small amount of time. This guy, I love this guy. He always gets open. He made big catches with very forgettable quarterbacks. Xavier Restrepo out of Miami.
Yeah, I think he's got a spot in the league. I don't think he's going to be day one pick.
No, probably not.
But that's a dude you can get like the 3rd or 4th round, and you're going to have a hell of a receiver.
Right?
He does always get open. He's got phenomenal hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he put up. I mean, the thing is, they weren't like eye-catching numbers, but he was so consistent for so long in college, which is saying something because a lot of these receivers now, they have to stay 3 years for the most part, right? They have like one eye-catching season, right? And that's what they get drafted off of. Restrepo has just been a steady dude, you know. Yeah, I like him. I think that's a dude that can turn into a really good slot receiver.
I think he could be a Wes Welker type receiver or Brandon Stokely, where he puts up kind of insane numbers, can get 100 catches. Every time I saw Miami play, which wasn't that often, whenever they were down, whenever they needed a big play, he just found the hole in a zone. He was just always open, taking big hits over the middle. Tough receiver. Like you said, great hands. I don't know how many touchdowns he got. He didn't get into the end zone that much, but man,
no, he
moves chains.
Yeah, he was a possession guy. Like Ward did most of his damage, like touchdown wise, like on long passes. Restrepo's a dude that gets you the ball, or you get him the ball when you need 8 to 10 tough yards, and those guys are important in the NFL. And I think he would be better served going to a team, I don't know, probably pretty veteran heavy. Like Buffalo would be a great spot for him.
What if he ended up in Kansas City?
Oh, dude, that would be murder. Because, like, dude, the wideout, that rookie wideout, Kansas City had, the guy who only, Worthy was the only guy who did any damage in the Super Bowl. But can you imagine him stretching the field and Restrepo like playing slot?
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be fair.
And
but who knows what Kansas City's going to feel their need is after that.
Well, we already know what the need is, especially after today. They traded Joe Tooney, who was their starting guard that kicked out to tackle because of all the injuries. He got traded to the Bears today.
So offensive line, they're going.
So O-line, they're going to have to lean into heavy.
And there's a bunch of athletic guys coming out in the O-line. The wide receiver out of Stanford, Eric. Do you know how to say his last name?
I don't.
Andor.
We'll just go Andor.
We'll go Andor.
Yeah.
That kid, I watched a couple games of his 2 years ago, and I watched him this past season. Man, he can get open. He can make all the tough catches, and he's playing. They were like flip-flopping quarterbacks on him. Stanford's going through a massive reconfiguration. What are we? I haven't seen Stanford be this non-watchable since the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But he made the games fun, and you always felt like the team had a chance. When they came back and got Colorado, that kid was making play after fucking play. I don't know if he's a day one guy because he doesn't have the quote unquote things that you want to see. They call them intangibles. I think they're bullshit.
Yeah.
He's running like a 4.47.
Which one? I think you want a guy that runs a sub 4.5, but keep in mind, like, this is how I look at it. All these dudes that come out of the nerd schools, like, I want one of them, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a dude who's going to put in the work. I mean, and this is what kills me. It's just like when people bitch about like Duke players, which, yes, let's make fun of Duke all day long. I'm here for it.
Yep.
But you have to, it's a very academically rigorous school.
Mm-hmm.
So is Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Stanford above all. I mean, dude, Stanford turns away like 90-some% of their the applicants to that's,
Doesn't matter if you're a good prospect or not.
Yeah. You have to be able to meet the entry requirements and the academics when you get there. But like, I want one of those guys because he's going to work. And like being the lone bright spot on a really bad team, like, that's rough.
I've never seen a wide receiver win games. I've seen a wide receiver make a difference, but I've never seen a wide receiver, literally look at the team like just I'll put the team on my back.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of wideouts don't do that. I mean, people like to say it's a prima donna position, and some players, yeah, but and let's face it, Andor was the offense.
He really was which is hard because you have a quarterback that's playing, he was a young kid playing behind a line that was just getting beat up.
Yeah.
So it was literally him just throwing it up and hoping that this dude would make a play. And 9 times out of 10, Andor made a play.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's always rough when you got a guy that's behind an offensive line that's like, I just need to huck it, chuck it football, or you're going to be able to draw the chalk body line around him because he just got murdered, in the back.
If that kid comes back at Stanford, I got my eye on him because I was like, that's a tough sumbitch. He made some big throws, but my God, that wide receiver for me, he was a game changer.
Yeah. I feel bad for that kid next season with Andor leaving. Like,
well, that's what we're going to find out. How good he really is, because if somebody else, if he's throwing some big passes to somebody else, then maybe he is a better quarterback than we think, and we should have our eyes on him as the next dude to come out of Stanford.
That I don't understand how David Shaw let that program just torpedo after his first 2 like post Harbaugh years.
Well, Shaw's finally in the pros somewhere he said he was never going to go.
Yeah, well.
So we'll see.
He left an empty cupboard for the new head coach.
He blew the cupboard up.
Yeah, dude. That coach, his replacement got there and was like, what the fuck?
What did you do to these people? There was literally corpses in the cupboard.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them was the quarterback with the chalk outline around him.
I was like, my goodness, dude, you were a top-notch program at one point.
Coach looks down and is just like, you haven't even had to deal with the pass rush yet, kid. And he's just like, I know. I'm prepping.
I'm preparing for the quick one.
For my murder in my own at my own 10-yard line.
But go back and watch highlights. He's number 13 on Stanford. Watch the game from a couple years ago where Stanford played Colorado, and you will see what I'm talking about by just putting the team on his back.
Well, maybe Stanford could just take the Cal defense. I don't know if you saw what where they said that they lost games because they were jet lag having to fly to the East Coast.
Cal and Stanford, more so Cal, I felt, was playing these ridiculous cross-country games, which was the knock on the league realignment, that people are going to be playing some ridiculous games. USC actually had a lot of travel as well.
Well,
go ahead.
Let's face it, Lincoln Riley has not been worth the money that USC threw at him to get him out of Oklahoma.
They were a couple plays away
Stop.
from being a very different team.
Stop. I mean, this is a team that's barely 500 the last 3 years. So,
Hey,
like,
last year, look, they lost by a field goal to Minnesota, Penn State,
all right,
Michigan.
I'm gonna tell you this the way my coach in high school told us. Whether it's by 3 or 300, a loss is a loss,
Sure.
right? And
Mhm.
Lincoln Riley is the most expensive 7-6 every year coach. He can recruit all day, can't coach it. Can't coach it.
We'll see.
Why don't they just dig up John Robinson and just have his corpse propped up all Weekend at Bernie style? It's probably a better coaching job than
We will be running student body left and
That's right.
student body right.
toss left, toss right.
Where's OJ?
Yeah. You know.
All I do is produce Heisman winning running backs. Why do I have a Southern accent when I am not from the South? I actually kind of remember the way John Robinson talked. He always talked like he had a bunch of marbles in his mouth. Emeka Ibuka.
My boy. That's my boy.
Is he a day one guy?
No, I think a day one would be a reach, but I could see him going in the second round. And
why do you think he's a day one guy?
Honestly, because there's just there's too many teams that don't need a number 2 wide receiver, right? Now, if you had a dominant quarterback, a good offensive line, and a wide receiver 1, and you're like this close to getting into the Super Bowl, yeah, draft him in the first round. But I don't think there's a lot of teams that need that, or that can afford to burn a first rounder on a wide receiver 2, right? But second round, absolutely, because the guy doesn't drop the ball. He's probably one of the best blocking wide receivers coming out of college in forever. And he puts up numbers. Like the guy set the catch record at Ohio State.
I just heard his name in that championship game over and over and over again.
Yep. And the thing is, it's like people, I mean, you got to give LSU a lot of credit for the amount of wide receivers they put in the NFL now. You have to. Ohio State's doing the same shit now.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that has a lot to do with Brian Hartline. So props to you, Brian. Hopefully you can call plays, because if you don't, it's going to be a rough year next year. But I think Ibuka is going to be a phenomenal addition to any team that drafts him. I would like to see him go, honestly, to a winner where he can just kind of, fit in, get in where he can fit in. And
why don't you think the San Francisco 49ers would take up number 1 on him?
Because, dude, they still have too much to do. Like, we saw that this past season. They need a better offensive line. They need dude. If I'm the Niners,
was hurt too.
That's what I'm saying. There's no depth. And granted, when you're going like 4 deep at some position, I get it, but you have to build depth. True. And the thing is, at the skill positions, right? Even moving Debo out, you still have Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey, all dealt with injuries last year. I'm well aware. But they
Pearsall got shot.
Yeah, Pearsall came on towards the end of the season.
After he got shot.
After he was shot, yeah. But like, I don't think Ibuka is the guy that's gonna like get the Niners over the hump into the Super Bowl. Can we just like ask what the fuck is up with like their strength and conditioning program? They had NFL roster's 58 players now. I think they had 72 people on IR at one point. I don't even know how that fucking works, but it seemed that way, But like, if I'm the general manager, if I'm John Lynch, I'm going up to Kyle Shanahan and being like, bro, your strength and conditioning coach has to go. We're going to get new nutritionists in here. We're going to get other, like, that's what I'm doing this offseason. Because like, you can't afford to be like, have the walking wounded out on the fucking field every single week again.
Every single week.
So like, I mean, Ibuka probably, he'd probably have success. I'd say like Houston would be a good fit.
Oakland, or I keep saying Oakland. I will always say Oakland, even though I hate the Raiders, but dude, Las Vegas.
I don't want to see Ibuka in Vegas. They have no fucking quarterback. Their offensive line is trash.
So you're not a fan of AOC is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him about as much as the other AOC from fucking New York City. Okay, like just to say, not at all.
Just no Adrian O'Connell for you is what you're telling me.
No, I mean, if the Raiders don't like take a stab at somebody like your boy Darnold, Justin Fields, something just to get serviceable quarterback play, like because Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell were, oh my god, you might as well just said, hey, we're quitting on the season. You might as well have just said that.
You saying to say that was like the year that the Chargers had John Freeze as a starter?
Dude, this is like the Bears, man. Like I felt like the Bears had a lot of talent. They were just like, yeah, we're gonna run out. Dick is over there. Yeah, we're gonna run out Mike Tomczak. Yeah, he's gonna be our QB.
We don't need McMahon and his bullshit.
Harbaugh, fuck that guy. Flutie, too short to play quarterback.
God, yeah.
Mike Tomczak.
Can we just admit that Mike Ditka is one of the worst evaluators of offensive talent?
Dude, I would argue he might just be a bad evaluator of talent. A lot of that defense was built by Buddy Ryan. And the Bears actually had a good GM before Ditka became Ditka. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is hindsight's always 2020, but at a certain point, you as a head coach need to realize you cannot do both of those jobs, general manager and head coach, well for a long period of time.
Yeah, Bill Walsh.
See Belichick, Bill, who was like first, second rounders, don't need them. Third, fourth, and fifth, though, we're going to sack those picks away and we're going to find good players. And he did. But you know what you need to thrive and continue to thrive? You got to hit on that first rounder. Yeah. You have to hit on them. And dude, Lawrence Maroney, there was one of our first rounders.
I mean, Bill Walsh was not a great first round picker.
No, he wasn't.
Outside of Jerry Rice. I can't think of Montana's a third rounder. Mm-hmm. Roger Craig's a second rounder. Ronnie Lott, was Ronnie Lott a Bill Walsh guy or was he before Bill Walsh?
No,
like 79, 80.
Yeah, I think it was 79 he got drafted.
Yeah, I don't even know if Ronnie Lott is a Bill Walsh guy, but I think he was a first rounder. But yeah, they missed on a lot. They were really great in free agency before the salary cap.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing that we have to the NFL salary cap is exploding, right? It's going to go up by almost $30 million next season, which is going to give a lot. The thing is, it's going to give teams like the Browns some cap relief because they have so much tied up in bad contracts. It still won't help, New Orleans, because, they're stupid. I think they're 72 million over the cap right now, which kills me because they got a trash team. But I mean, I guess that's what happens when you pay David Carr fucking, Derek, David. They're all the same to me.
Dr. Detroit, doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're fucking eyeliner wearing fucking stiffs from Fresno State.
Jesus. Stay out of Central California. They will beat you with avocados and almonds.
Oh, and their words.
Not their words. It's
don't disrespect the valley.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I will too.
Every time I get a chance.
I mean, Derek's had a better career. I mean, I that goes without saying, but I still don't know how the Saints decided, you know what? We need a QB after Drew Brees.
Why did they think they were a QB away and they had all that talent on offense? That's the bigger question.
Well, no shit, considering that this is Mickey Loomis doing Mickey Loomis shit, just kicking the can down the road. I think he figures because he's so tight with the Benson family that he's got a guaranteed job until he just falls over dead at his desk. And then at that point, it's not his problem anymore.
I mean, had the Raiders kept Carr, do you think Adams stays?
No. It's not a well-constructed team. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they've hit on some guys like Max Crosby. I wouldn't have let Josh Jacobs leave. Why the fuck did you do that? And it's just I think Crosby is a phenomenal dude. Like he
Yeah.
averages like 10 sacks a year. He's now officially
Yeah.
the highest paid non-quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he got hurt last year too.
Still busted out as 10 though. I mean, that's something
He's
else.
he's he's a tenacious player. I think he wants to retire a Raider.
I think he likes Vegas. That's what I think.
I don't know if that's good for him.
I mean, some people just like, I'm not saying he's like going out and partying and gambling every night. I think he just likes the ambiance of the town. I get that. Just like a lot of dudes that play in New York City. They're
As a
not.
person that has lived in Las Vegas, unless you live on the Strip, and I know they have like new fancy condos and shit. To live in the city of Las Vegas is to live in a massive suburb. It's just suburbs.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I
And
couldn't
it's
live out
not
there.
fun.
One, it's too fucking hot.
It's way too hot.
And I don't like Vegas. So that's probably the main reason why I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to live there.
If you don't dig it, if you're not like, dude, Jay, let's go to another buffet. That's not
Yeah, like
that's not how you're looking at. I met a woman in Vegas and we lived there for a short time. We ended up doing music together for a bunch of years, but we both booked it out of there as soon as possible. It is not it's that's a whole nother show.
yeah.
Tez Johnson.
This guy is on my list of like really fell. Like I think his draft status, man, took a big hit.
Because of the combine.
Yeah.
So you think regardless of what he's done on the field and shown that he can do in big games, none of that matters because of your 40 time and you do bench press.
I don't think it's so much the 40 time and the bench press. I think it's what he weighed in at. He weighed in at 154 pounds.
Little guy.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Like Welker and Edelman probably got close to 200 pounds at one point, right? Fit guys, obviously. And Julian Edelman still looks like he could suit up and play. But Tez Johnson, I hate saying this. He's a wee man. Like my left leg weighs more than he does. And the thing is, the first time he does a crossing route, Jason, and he gets fucking just lit up by a linebacker, he's going to just disappear. Like just turn into dust.
You don't think he's a good joker back? Like he can get in some packages and make some crazy plays?
Yeah, but why would you burn a pick on a dude you're only getting on the field 10 to 15 times a game?
Mm-hmm.
The juice isn't worth the squeeze there, right? He did. He put up numbers at Oregon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for a dude that size to like come in like the bottom 15% of people who ran at his position, the 40, like that's not good. And like you've literally had months to put muscle on. And let's not act like these guys through their agents don't have the best nutritionists, the best weight coaches.
Nutritionists.
Yeah.
It's
obvious that he didn't do any of that. He didn't.
No, he didn't. Dude, look, do these guys look a lot slimmer to you? I felt like everybody across the board looked way slimmer, way more cut, way more agile.
Well,
I wouldn't doubt if that kid lost weight getting track ready.
Dude, I don't think he's never a big dude, know? And the thing is, in the NFL, dude, you're playing 17 games, you're taking a beat in every game, everybody's as fast as you. You should be the same size as people, but I mean, Tez Johnson is just he's a wee man. And I think that's going to scare a lot of teams off, even watching his game film, man. Because this isn't Dylan Gabriel dropping dimes to you against, Minnesota or Northwestern, USC.
Wow.
This is the NFL, dude. And even Jacksonville has phenomenal players in their defensive
that are bigger than 150. Yeah. No. I'm agreeing with you.
And like I said, he takes one shot from a linebacker. They're gonna be like, "Holy shit, where did Tez go?" And he's just.
So do you think he goes undrafted?
I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, there's always that one team that kind of does like a weird pick. I mean, and let's be honest, typically it's the Raiders.
But he didn't burn.
No, but the only thing Sebastian Janikowski burned was cigarettes while warming up on the sideline, and he still got taken in the first round.
Yeah, but he also
So,
had a big foot. You know,
yeah.
Darius Haywood Bay had the fastest 40 time that year, and he got picked and was not a first round. He played in the league for a while, but he wasn't a world beater.
He played for 3 different teams and didn't do shit, And
Yeah, like I said, he wasn't.
is he here? Whenever you keep throwing Bortles out, if you've watched, have any of you guys watched the show, The
Yeah.
Good Place?
I think that's why he's saying it.
Right, Jason. Remember Jason from the show was a huge Jacksonville fan that ran around yelling Duval and Bortles. Blake Bortles is my favorite quarterback.
It's I don't know. I still got my eye on Tez Johnson. I think someone will take him. I don't think on the first round. But my first round wide receiver, if no one takes this guy, is Tetaroa McMillan.
Tetaroa McMillan, yeah, dude.
My God.
I don't understand. Like, I get Travis Hunter's there, right?
Sure.
Dude, if we're talking just wide receiver work, I'm taking McMillan. Right. And that's not a knock against Hunter. And I hope no one takes it that way. Travis Hunter is, again, one of those once in a lifetime players. But McMillan is just fucking phenomenal.
Is he the closest thing you've seen to Megatron?
Yeah. Yeah. When you're talking like just size, speed. Hands.
Yeah.
And
hands. Crazy hands.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And on top of that, he can run every route on the route tree. Because you notice he didn't just line up on one side of the field. He was all over the place. And I wish I could remember the man's name, but Arizona's head coach, I give him a lot of credit for realizing what he had out there and just letting him ball.
And McMillan stayed at Arizona the whole time. Some of these receivers that we're naming, I believe Restrepo stayed his whole time at Miami. Andor stayed at Stanford. Did Ibuka?
4 years at Ohio State, man.
Ohio State. Tez Johnson bounced around, didn't he? I don't think he was at Oregon straight out.
I don't think he was.
But McMillan, because his boy from high school was the quarterback there or is the quarterback at Arizona, and they had that great relationship. But man, watching Arizona play with those two on the field was always exciting because that kid is going to make some. I can't believe you made that catches.
Yeah, Tez Johnson started out at Troy.
There you go. I know he didn't start out at Oregon.
Yeah. He started out at Troy. He was one of those lower level FBS guys to transfer to a big school. But
Dr.
McMillan
says the Pats are thinking about needing a wide receiver.
I would love to see Drake and Tetaroa. Honestly, if the Pats draft McMillan, I'm buying a jersey that day.
Who's got the number 1 pick? I forget. Is it the Panthers?
No. Panthers played themselves out of the first rounder.
So it's the Bears?
Here, I'll get it.
Damn. Max goatee strength. No Gooch is safe. Damn.
All right, here we go. Tennessee's got the first pick. Here's the top 10 guys. Tennessee, Cleveland, New York Giants, New England, Jacksonville, Vegas, New York Jets, Carolina, New Orleans, and Chicago comes in at 10. Then we have San Francisco, Dallas, Miami, Indy, Atlanta, Arizona, Cincy, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Denver, Pittsburgh, the Chargers, Green Bay, Minnesota, Houston, the Rams, Baltimore, Detroit, Washington, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philly. So, I mean, I honestly think Tennessee kind of surprises us all. And takes Abdul Carter.
You think that's a surprise, though?
Because it's such a quarterback needy team. Yeah. I mean, if I'm Tennessee, I don't know if Cam Ward's the guy that takes you to the promised land, dude.
No.
But Abdul Carter could be like a Myles Garrett type disruptor on the edge. And let's face it, we all know the most important position on the team is quarterback, but what's the second most important position? That's defensive end. Having that guy that can get to the quarterback. And with a new coaching staff, I would probably, because especially considering the division they play in, I mean, it's the NFC South. Houston kind of had a come back to earth moment last season. Indy, I have no fucking clue what they're doing. It's a division you could win with defense. Why not lean into it? Especially if you're a few years away from even really competing. It's a weak QB draft this year. Go with Abdul Carter. Fucking punt on picking a quarterback till next, the following season. So, I mean, I think Abdul Carter is probably the safest bet to have to be like a game changer in this draft. Whereas guys like Cam Ward, I think, is going to need to be in the right system at first to really get his legs under him and take advantage of what he can do on a football field. And again, that's not a knock against Cam Ward, but I think Cam Ward really showed a lot of the warts in his game last year, right? And Miami had a much better year than they typically had. But the fact of the matter is there were some games that Miami lost that they should have won. There were games where Cam Ward could have played a lot better, except he decided to pull it out at the very end of the game. So like it's I think Abdul Carter is a safe bet. I think McMillan's a safe bet. And then after that, and I think Hunter, depending on what position you expect him to play the most, like if I'm drafting Travis Hunter, I'm drafting him to play corner. Right?
Yeah. Would you have a couple packages for him as wide receiver?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But in no way in hell am I letting him on the field 111 times again.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, and he's like, no, man, I can do it. I can do it. Like, bro, not in the NFL, man.
Like, I'm sure you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're going to turn to dust like Tez Johnson, like, here's the thing. Travis Hunter is already a phenomenal athlete. What Travis Hunter needs to do, though, is put some muscle on, because these corners play the run. And with short passing games, what do you have to be able to do very well? Tackle.
Yes. Get off blocks too.
Yeah, there's going to be receivers that just manhandle Travis Hunter right now. Right? But give him time in the weight room. Travis Hunter could become an unstoppable corner. Like, even if the Pats drafted Hunter, like say Hunter fell down to 4, you line him up across from Christian Gonzalez, you're not throwing the ball against New England. Not going to fucking happen. Right? And then you put some gadget packages in there for Hunter to get him on the field. I think that'd be a great pick. But give me McMillan. That's just me. Come on, New England. I'm gonna speak it into existence, just like every other fucking goofball from the Valley. That's how the Carr brothers ended up in the NFL. Their mom spoke it into existence.
Wow. Did the Carr brothers take your girlfriend?
No, they just used more eyeliner than she did.
Wow. It sounds like a man who got his girlfriend stolen from a Carr brother.
Listen, dude, if my girlfriend's being stolen from me by the Carr brothers, I need to just throw myself into traffic. Okay? Fuck the Carrs.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
See, this is what happens when I come off the IR, guys. I get a little cantankerous about the Carr brothers.
A little? My God, the dead has risen.
You know how you feel about Doug Williams?
That's how you feel about the Carr.
That's how I feel about the Carr brothers.
Well, that's fair. If that's the case, that's fair then, because Doug Williams is not my it's not my cup of tea.
No.
To say the least. I'm trying to unlock this image that I sent you, Mac. I sent you an image earlier today.
Oh yeah, the butt chart.
And
Yes, everybody. Jason sent me the butt chart to finally nail down, to share with all of us what he means by a long butt, but not a flat butt.
Before we move on to quarterbacks, I want to show that chart.
It's because he wants you all to know he likes a little curvature in it. He doesn't want it flat like a aircraft carrier.
No. It's
He wants it like the mesas of Utah, where it's a little bit flat, but then there's a nice little rise in it.
there's a little rise in it. The butt chart I thought was ingenious. I don't know why you don't feel that way about the butt
I mean,
chart.
it's a good chart. It's full of helpful information, and honestly, every dude should have it with him so he can knows, that's the type of butt I'm looking at right now, or the type of butt that I like. So I mean, I wasn't against it. It's just I'm always scared to open up messages you send me now because of the stuff in it.
I stopped getting all the crazy amputee stuff,
Well, that's probably for the best.
but I am getting a lot more hot little person stuff.
Jason,
What does that mean?
you looked up midget porn, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
They just for some reason I get sent a fair amount of it. I don't understand why.
I
I'm not against it per se.
mean, I just figured with our mobile devices constantly listening to us and the way we talk about like big titty goth girls in Mexico, you would get a lot more of that rather than,
You would think.
That's you see, right, Zahir. Exactly. That's why Jason's internet has been spotty. Yeah.
That's why Jason's internet
He's downloading little people porn. Mm-hmm. Jason just likes it because her hands make his dick look big. I am ashamed that I threw that out
there. That's not true, but it could be true. If I do meet a woman with small hands, I'm always like, hey, hot stuff. Where have you been all my life?
How you doing?
Damn.
You want to skip dinner and just go back to my place?
Everyone's like, why do you date these weird looking women? Look at her hands, man.
They're like, Jason, it looks like a pita bread with Vienna sausages. I know.
Exactly. Okay, I think I finally sent myself the butt chart. I want Mac, I need you to also go over the butt chart with the people so they understand.
Do a butt breakdown.
Butt breakdown. Sometimes you need a butt breakdown.
I mean, I like mine a little more round than yours, Jason. I know what you're going for. You want that 80s leotard butt.
80s leotard. I was watching this thing and this kid said, what's up with y'all in the 90s with them hard body butts?
What?
And he was talking about your girl Carmen Electra.
Oh, well.
He called her a hard body butt. Okay, so look, is the butt chart up right now?
I don't see the
butt chart. Okay, here's the butt chart. Can you see the butt chart, Mac?
I don't see the butt chart.
You don't see the butt chart on the screen?
No, I don't see the butt chart on the screen.
What do you see on the screen right now?
I see Travis Hunter.
And yourself?
And me, yeah. I'm little. Oh, there's the butt chart.
Okay, now you see the butt chart.
Yeah, there's
the whole screen as the butt chart.
Yeah,
Bam.
Do the whole screen as a butt chart.
Whole screen is a butt chart right now. Look at this butt chart. I'm not going for this top one with see that panty line right there? That's not what you want.
I mean, and that's not even a butt. That's just an extension of her hamstring. Like, it hurts when that woman sits down. Because it's just...
This butt right here is a scene from the movie Whore starring Teresa Russell. And it was Ken Russell's response to the movie Pretty Woman.
Oh,
It's a pretty interesting film, actually. This is what I'm going for right here. This is Bryce Howard.
yeah. And see, this is a woman. She's got like this. It was found to be true that movie editors made her ass smaller in the film.
Really?
Yes, because she's got an ass, dude.
Look at this. There's a lot of cake.
Dude, she's
There's a
got
lot of
more.
cake in those cargo pants.
She got more cake than that. In fact, like Bryce Dallas Howard, man, she's a curvy woman, and I would.
Eric W says there it is.
Yeah, there it is. I would drink Bryce Dallas Howard's bathwater.
She's a baddie.
She
But
is.
here's where Mac and I diverge. This one, I would take this one as well. This is what he's talking about. 80s leotard,
butt.
long. Look at that. Doesn't start here. It's long, and then bam! Look at the curvature right there.
Yeah.
Bam.
See, that's Jason's go-to. That's what he wants.
Oh yeah, the back end, when they throw it back at you like that, when they have that.
See, Jason wants like a Jane Fonda jazzercise butt. When we live in a world now of women who do a lot of squats.
We do. We do.
I love it. I love it. I'm here for it.
And look right here, this says upside down heart. Just to let you know, that's the butt we're looking for right here. There it is there. Look at this. Look at all this. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's a lot. That is a lot.
Again, that is some like aerobics butt.
But that's a lot of aerobics butt.
I want power lifter butt.
I don't want all the muscles.
I like the muscles. That's why Rhea Ripley is just chef's kiss to me.
Dr. Claus says Bryce Dallas Howard was a bit of shock. Right? Because you think Ron Howard's kid, you think Opie Taylor's fucking daughter.
Yeah, which leads me to believe that Opie Taylor hooked up with a fucking badass woman to make Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Who was his wife?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
Like, bro, I'm so oblivious to like celebrity, like old school celebrity spouses that like I didn't realize that Ted Danson was married to
Whoopi Goldberg?
No, after the mom from Step Brothers.
What is her name?
Is it like Mary Steenenberg or something like that?
Steenburgen. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, she could still get it. Smash. Okay, like she's hot.
See, Eric knows. Eric knows, dude. There's some look, I'm telling you right now, on the butt chart. This is Teresa Russell. There's a lot of cake there. Cake. This isn't sheet cake right here. This is a 7-layer. This is a 7-layer cake from a large chain steakhouse. This is the cake. You're like, oh, maybe we can have dessert when we're done. And then the 7-layer thing goes like, oh, make some corny joke about how large it is. That's that. That's the goal for everybody. But this one will make you insecure.
Nah, bro. That's just gonna make me want to take 2 dick pills instead of 1 that night. That's what that butt's gonna make me want to do.
What about the Shasta commercial of butts right here?
I mean, I feel like that's too much cheek even for you. There's too much sugar to that. It doesn't meet the definition of our Kelly LeBrock from the 1980s lookalike in below the flat, the all hamstring butt, like
the all hamstring is a no-go. This one right here, this is a lot right here. But again,
that's not even that much.
That's a lot of butt right here.
Bro, it just looks like a lot of butt because she's wearing that high-waisted bikini bottom.
I think that this woman right here has a lot of ass. And I think if she walked by you right now, you'd be like, oh, wow, that woman has a lot of ass. And I'd be like, that's the woman you said did not have a lot of ass. And then you'd have to go, I stand corrected.
I feel like that is a conversation we would have because you and I both are children in 40-year-old man bodies.
Sure.
But I mean, I appreciate a good butt. See, I'm not just like locked into one type of butt. I think that things, I don't really have a type. I just go with, oh man, that looks nice. Let's give it let me shoot my shot. And when I get shot down, I'm like, okay, shoot my shot at somebody again who doesn't really look like her. So.
But you wouldn't shoot anything at this woman right here.
Oh, skeet.
Skate. All right. Now, moving on to sports, we have a little bit of time left. I do want to get to the
talking
quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks.
Let's start with Jalen Milroe. These are the guys. I'm just going to name their names again. I think one of them is going to fall into the first round or fall up into the first round and possibly be a mistake. Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, I think can fuck around into the first round. And for some reason, everybody's real high on Tyler Slow.
Tyler Slow.
Yeah. Custard of BB.
Yeah. I mean, is there a quarterback that seemed to do nothing but torpedo his draft positioning this season like Jalen Milroe did?
I kind of, and I hate Alabama, but I wanted that kid to do well.
Dude, I did too. But I think a lot of it has to do with switching offensive systems. Kalen DeBoer does not run an easy system to learn, right? This isn't, I get up to the line, I see this as a bad play to run, and then I look over to the sideline and he's calling it for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, Kalen DeBoer runs like 20 plays out of like 20 different formations, right? That is tough to pick up on. Like, it sounds simple, but making sure everybody's lined up correctly in all these different formations, making sure your play calls right, being able to read the defense. And see, that's something that Jalen, that's something that a lot of Alabama quarterbacks, when Saban decided he was going to open up the offense, when he started, making the offensive coordinator spot at Alabama, like the coaching rehab center, like with Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin, right? Those guys made a lot of the calls for the quarterbacks. Milroe didn't have that this year, right? So there were some lumps, and he had some very bad games. Do I think he's a first-round quarterback? No. Do I even think he's a second-rounder? No. But this is a guy that a good team can draft in the later rounds and then stash him, right? And develop a quarterback. Because I think with a little work, you can improve his accuracy. He's not going to really wow you with like the 70-yard downfield pass, but you don't need that often.
He was extremely inaccurate at the combine too.
Yeah, he was. Well, so was, I mean, that's the thing. Will Howard just won a national championship, and he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a fucking boat at the combine.
Well, that was a knock on him at K-State. That was a knock on him a little bit at Ohio State as well, that he was highly inaccurate.
But see, that's the thing. He caught fire at the right time, right? Like after that Michigan game during the playoffs, dude was on it, right? And I don't think Will Howard was going to be an NFL quarterback anyway. He doesn't have good arm strength. And I'm just saying that, like, his balls don't look good after 20 yards. And that's not what you want in an NFL quarterback.
That's what you want anyone to say to you.
Yeah, that's
at any point in your life.
Yeah.
There's never a point in your life where someone
your balls do not look good at 20 yards.
Jesus fuck. Sorry. You could have said no.
Yeah. Jesus.
I would have taken it.
How did you scope my balls from 20 yards? Your eyesight's phenomenal.
And you're fucking weird, lady.
Yeah, staring at my junk. You just look like looking at rigs. Is that your
looking at my hog?
Yeah. I mean, Tyler Slow is a 7-year guy. 3 really devastating season-ending injuries. He kind of like wowed people. See, Jackson Dart's the guy that people are just really dick riding him right now. And I'm like, why?
It's no longer just numbers. Because I didn't put Dylan Gabriel on here, because I just don't think he's going to get picked up
He's a UFL. He's a UFL quarterback.
He might be he might be undrafted.
He's a UFL quarterback. Dillon Gabriel is okay. Drew Brees was generational talent in a 5'11" body. Dillon Gabriel is not that.
No.
He is not generational, right? His size is going to be to his detriment. And even if you cooked up a scheme the way Sean Payton did for Drew Brees, right, which was sliding him around the pocket, there was a lot of sliding protections to give him windows to throw through. Gabriel doesn't have Drew Brees talent, and excuse me, guys, and that's okay. Like I don't think
not a lot of people do.
Exactly, but the thing is, it's okay to be an amazing collegiate football player. Like Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel are still living off that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Dillon Gabriel can do the same thing. Bro, you could literally be given a car dealership right now and you just show up hungover and sit in the corner office and you're going to make money.
You're not going to make the money you made in college football, which will make good money.
Yeah, you're going to be fine, dude. And on top of that, you can demo a new vehicle every model year. You're fine, But yeah, man, it's just like when you look at the quarterback talent coming out this year, it's just like, this ain't it, man. This is not the year to need a quarterback.
Riley Leonard surprised me a little bit. He was a little more accurate. Look, I'm not a Riley Leonard fan. I didn't think he showed up in the big game. I think he's got crazy accuracy problems.
He's got crazy throwing the football problems. Riley Leonard, I'll tell you what, Jason.
Jesus Christ.
Riley Leonard would be a phenomenal NFL quarterback if it was 1936.
Damn,
we were still running the veer option.
Jesus.
Okay.
So he's perfect for short yardage. Will we see? Okay, to your point, I'm not disagreeing with you. Now that the tush push is illegal, will we see the Riley Leonard? Like, we need a Riley Leonard guy for 3rd and 1s, and we're going to bring him in, and he can run the triple option.
I mean, yeah, but like, no one's going to burn a pick just for that.
I mean, you can get him undrafted.
I mean, dude, I don't think you waste a practice squad roster spot on Riley Leonard. Damn. Like Notre Dame got to the game this season because of their defense, period. Right? They had good skill players, so their running game was phenomenal, right, for most of the season. But they didn't have a quarterback that could consistently get wide receivers the ball. So if you put Notre Dame in like a 3rd and 8, they're probably going to punt.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard is who he is, and I didn't play football at Notre Dame. Shit, I didn't play football at Duke. Right? But like, dude, this isn't a guy that you waste a roster spot on, man.
Damn.
Like maybe he goes to the UFL, maybe he goes to Canada, maybe he does something. Maybe he goes to Europe, and plays in the professional league there and like refines his game. Because let's face it, man, dude, NFL scouts are constantly on the lookout for talent, especially talent that they can get cheap. So they have people that scout the professional league in Europe. They have people that scout Canada. I mean, fuck, there is a rough working agreement with the NFL. I mean, there were 40-something UFL players that literally finished up a spring football league and then was signed to an NFL deal. So maybe he can revamp his skill set there. But the thing is, when you are in your early 20s, right, especially when it comes to football, you know what you're getting when the combine hits. You're not going to change your game a whole lot, right? Like you said, Will Howard, a big knock on him at Kansas State, wasn't very accurate, right? A lot of people said that had to do with the talent around him. I mean, Kansas State's a steady program. I think we could all say that.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Kleiman is probably as good of a coach as Bruce Snyder, who gets the most out of his players and has a more inventive system to put players in positions to be successful.
Sure.
I mean, fuck, the dude won at Wyoming. Who does that? Chris Kleeman, that's who. Like, that's it. He's the only guy. But Riley Leonard isn't going to get a better arm. He's not going to get more accurate, right? Like, he's just not an NFL quarterback. And that's okay. Again, he made some money playing college football. He got to play in the biggest game in college football for one of the biggest programs, whether you like it or not, Notre Dame is in college football, right? Again, you and I didn't do that. You're sitting in Mexico, fucking with spotty internet because you're getting little people porn, and I'm stuck in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right? So, like, I think he's doing okay.
No, it's because of the butt chart. That's why. It's just because of the butt chart.
I'm not going to blame the butt chart because that's an educational tool for young men.
This is the one in the middle here in all black. That's a winner for me. The all black.
Yeah, I could see you like breaking your nose to get in there.
He said breaking your nose.
Just diving head first into them cheeks.
Maybe.
But I mean,
we
I
call
think
Mrs. Miles.
Hi, Mrs. Miles. Hi, Mac. Jason, get your nose out of my butt.
Not in front of the guests.
But I think the biggest crime I think coming out of all this is the Shedeur Sanders stuff.
Shedeur Sanders. Can I just say this before you go on your rant? Because we only have a few minutes left. Shedeur Sanders played on a team with a very spotty line, inconsistent running back play, inconsistent wide receiver play outside of the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter. And he, more often than not, made pretty accurate throws, crazy, never on platform. The fact they were able to win as many games as they were able to win kind of is a testament to how good this kid actually is. All the while, and I know that there's certain post-game comments that people like to blow up as if everybody post-game is a fucking perfect citizen. He never does anything, in my opinion, for this generation of player that's been getting paid for as long as they've been getting paid, and for the size contracts that they're getting to advertise the stuff that they're advertising. We have to take all that in consideration, and you have to take his dad into consideration. All those things being said, Shedeur Sanders to me is a pretty level-headed kid, and he's a perfect celebrity. He loves the camera. The camera loves him. I think kind of like his dad. He doesn't say too much crazy shit.
I think him and Travis Hunter both fit that bill.
Oh yes, they are made to be more than just football players, and that's kind of what the new athlete's going to look like. Basketball hasn't gotten there yet.
No,
Caitlin Clark isn't. She does not love the camera at all.
I don't think this is the thing with Caitlin Clark. I don't think she really likes the celebrity part of being a professional athlete.
Agreed.
And I can't blame her, especially in the sports landscape that we all live in right now, and how there's a lot of dudes who just hate her for being a phenomenally talented woman. But when Prairie Fire, we're going to address that here in a second. But let's face it, Travis Hunter, copped to, he's like, I play video games, I fish, and I play football.
Yeah.
These are two dudes that didn't get, they went to class. They were always where they were supposed to be. They didn't get arrested.
Nope.
Right? They didn't cause any problems.
Nope.
They didn't say anything more than what you say on a football field when you're playing another team for 60 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of John, a lot of shit talk. And that goes back to the very advent of the game when they were calling each other whippersnappers and shit. Right? Like, that's just shit talk's part of the game. I think Shedeur Sanders is being punished because of who his dad is.
Sure.
That is what I think it is. 100% full stop. Right? Deion Sanders was like a once-in-a-lifetime player again. Like, he was. You can't fault him for. You can't say he wasn't. Dude was one of the few people to ever play baseball and football. Like, he played a baseball game and a football game the same fucking day, right? Like, but Deion Sanders rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially considering of when he played. The NFL was still very stodgy, very fucking buttoned up and all that happy horse shit, right? And that was not Deion. And I hate to tell people this, if Bo wouldn't have fucked his hip up, he would have been the same way. He was not a buttoned up, stodgy dude, right? Like, people forget that Bo Jackson was the guy that was making barehanded throws and then breaking baseball bats over his knee,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Did he break one over his head too?
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like, Bo Jackson wasn't a quiet guy. Like, everybody likes to portray him. Oh, he was just a guy that was into sports. No, dude. Nike's, like, literally one of Nike's most successful ad campaigns
Oh, knows.
was Bo Knows, right? Like, he was very comfortable being the face of a franchise, not in just one sport, but two, and being a guy that was going to be in front of a camera. Like you said, Shador Sanders is perfect for this, right? I don't think he's even half the outlandish personality his dad was, or is, actually. Like, let's face it, Prime has not chilled with age. He's just lost a few toes, but like, Shador, refusing to throw and participate in anything other than interviews at the combine. That's no different than a lot of fucking high dollar quarterbacks have done over the last
Cam
20
Ward didn't
years.
throw. Yeah.
Right? Why isn't Cam Ward getting the same shit that Shador's getting? And Prairie, that little, lost the fucking Nebraska thing. I'm going to tell you right now, Shador Sanders is responsible for every fucking win Colorado got last season.
Easy.
Period.
Yep.
They had no running game, not spotty, none. They literally were the worst running team in fucking college football. Out of 134 teams, Colorado was dead last. They averaged a little more than 3 yards a carry. That offensive line, while better than the first season, still wasn't good. And their defense, Jesus Christ, it was an emotional roller coaster watching that defense play.
It really was.
Because some series you're like, man, they're getting their shit together.
Yeah.
And then the next series they went on the field, they got torched for 86 yards in 3 plays.
From a subpar team. No, that Shador, Cam Ward seems like a nice young man. We'll see. He's one of those, to me, he's like one of those we'll see guys because he bounced around a lot. And I think he's a great experiment player because we have to know how many times does one bounce around and you're not really getting developed. Like, a lot of people aren't getting developed right now in college football. Shador, who came out last? Caleb Williams, only a couple times they bounced around, and then they followed coaches, right? It wasn't because of the lack of playing time or where they were on the depth chart. So I don't know if he can come in and ball the hell out like you saw with the Jaden Daniels. I wouldn't doubt it. But what's the situation that he goes to where he can succeed? I don't think it's one of these teams like the New York Giants or the New York Jets. I think New York is a horrible place for a person like him. Number one, because he does have a very chill temperament. New York is not going to like that.
No, that's the thing. I don't want any, like, Travis Hunter would fit in well in the Jets or the Giants. I don't think he's going to get that
anywhere.
Right? But, like, that's a guy that is going to command the spotlight. That's not going to mind, just being grilled incessantly by New York press.
Yeah.
I think that all just slides off his back. Travis Hunter just seems like, say what you want. I don't care. I'm going to go out and just play football and play it to the best of my ability. Right? But I agree with you 100% with Cam Ward in New York. Holy fuck. Right? Like, honestly, Tennessee would be the best place because, like, Tennessee press ain't shit.
Went outside of Warren Moon, and I don't know what Tennessee would. Do they want to claim the Oilers? Right?
They're claiming both.
Okay, if you want to claim the Oilers, you had Steve McNair, and I don't even know if people remember the McNair years with the Oilers as much as they remember his Ravens years.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. He kind of had that renaissance with the Ravens, right? Because remember,
Yeah.
those last few years in Tennessee were kind of rough, and that's because Tennessee went from like here to here,
And he was getting just pummeled.
pummeled. Yeah,
Oh my God, that guy was always just
I
going
felt
back
like
on
once
the
Bruce Matthews retired, like Steve McNair started seeing his life flash before his eyes.
The injuries that man was getting and playing with. Him and Allen Iverson to me were the same guy.
Yeah, except Steve McNair was way more freaky than Allen Iverson because
apparently so.
Yeah.
So how, I mean, he left this mortal plane in a very tragic way.
Yes. But you know, I'm with you. I don't know if I want to, if I don't know if me as a general manager, right? Like say you're my lead scout and you're like, Mac, are you willing to stake your reputation as a team builder to Cam Ward? I don't know if I got the balls to do that.
Who's the give me the first two? It's the Titans, the Giants, the Jets?
Oh shit, I just closed it, bro.
I'm sorry.
There we go. Boop. Okay, so we got the Titans, Cleveland, Giants, New England, Jacksonville, top 5.
Could he fit in Cleveland?
No.
Really?
No. Dude.
Can Shador fit in Cleveland?
I don't think any, right now, I don't think any quarterback is going to be successful there.
You want another season of Famous James? I
love, I'm a Pats fan, but if I had a number 2, it'd be the Browns. I love Cleveland. I love the city. I want the Browns to be successful. But this is the fact of the matter. I have 2 GMs that, if I'm a fan of either team, get hands on site. That's Nico Harrison for the Mavericks and Andrew fucking Barry from the Browns. Okay? Like, Barry is the architect of the worst trade in NFL history. Straight up and down. The Deshaun Watson trade is worse than the Cowboys fleecing the Vikings. Right? Hands down. Houston has pieces to grow that team. And guess what? Those pieces help them rebuild really fucking quick.
Yeah.
I think DeMeco Ryans has a big part in that because he kind of like changed the attitude of the team. Like, we don't have to be doormats. Let's not be that. Right? And it just really, all those extra picks allowed them to plug talent into holes that they needed plugged. And then what does Cleveland get? Cleveland gets a guy who hasn't played football in 2 fucking years at the time of the trade, right? Who has been, I don't know, as brittle as Mr. Glass from Unbreakable, okay? And is allegedly a sex pest. And keep in mind, I think you all know how I feel about it. I say allegedly so I don't get sued. Okay? And this guy has done nothing. And he's on the books for the next 2 years.
2? Still?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a horrible trade.
Right? And the thing is, Jason, his cap hits are over $100 million.
Oh, why?
Because they keep backloading the deal. They keep changing the deal up to backload money so the Browns can have more money today to spend on the roster right now. So, with the dumpster fire that is the front office, and they haven't really shown an ability to develop and keep their talent, right? I don't wish the Browns on anybody, any young player, because of that. I think Stefanski's a great head coach, but like as of right now, Shador going to Cleveland is going to be the professional equivalent of him playing in fucking Colorado in college. Well, listen, Prairie Fire. I have to use allegedly. So, again, because I don't want to get sued, Jason and I, between the two of us, have $38.67
oh my God. And you have way more than me. I literally have $7.
Right? So I have 31 of those dollars.
I literally have $7.
Well, Zahir, it should be because that is That's essentially how I feel. I mean, I literally told my boss yesterday morning before I left early. I was like, I'm only here because if I make it 2 hours, you're going to pay me for the whole day. And then at 2 hours and 1 minute, I ran to the bathroom, yacked, and clocked out.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Cleveland has been a revolving door for quarterbacks. And
Sadly.
if you look at what they've drafted, regardless of talent level, they have not been developed. So I worry about any young QB.
Thank you, Trey. It's if only you knew. If only you knew. Yeah, if only you knew.
Well, hold on, Claw.
Yeah.
That is a good point. He does have PR plot armor. You're right, but I think where Stefanski shot himself in the foot was him thinking I'm the smartest guy in the room and I have to outsmart myself, because a smart man keeps Stump Mitchell at all costs. Because every running back that has ever played for Stump Mitchell, and Jason, you know who Stump Mitchell is?
Yeah, the old running back.
He was the running backs coach in Cleveland for quite a few years.
Mhm.
Everybody that plays for him loves him, and that's one. And two, everybody that plays for Stump Mitchell has a successful year because Stump Mitchell is fucking awesome, right? But that's Stefanski strikes me as that type of guy. Like, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Let me outsmart myself, when he could literally just do what he did in Baker's last year: lean on the run, have smart passing, and then let your defense do their thing. But no, he decided he wanted to get pass happy because we got Deshaun Watson now, and then the entire team imploded. So, and now the generational talent, the wrecking ball that is Myles Garrett, was like, nah, bitch, I will not renegotiate my contract. I will not sign a new contract here. You're going to get me the fuck out. And whether we like it or not, Garrett will not be in Cleveland after the season, or going into next season. Like, he will be traded.
Sadly. Do you think he goes to Buffalo?
I think Buffalo will make a play. And I also think Philly will.
Ooh, is that fair for him to go to Philly? Is that cheating?
Dude, I feel like it would be, but I just feel that, God, I'm forgetting everybody's name, but Philly's GM is so good at just getting players. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts a package together. Um, can you imagine San Francisco trying to take a swing? They always seem to put things together to bring guys in.
Do you think what's the brother's name? I can't think of
The
his name.
Bosas?
The Bosa and SF. Do you think some of the Bosas are a little overrated?
Yeah. I mean, look at Joey. Just got past. Max Crosby just passed Joey for being the highest paid defensive end, right?
Mhm.
Joey, since he got in the league, has a phenomenal, flat out, like, wow year, and
Mhm.
then just deals with injuries the following year,
Does
right?
it feel like juice for you? Like, remember Sean Lights Out Merriman?
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I think. Do you remember Reggie Sanders, baseball player?
Oh wow, that's what I thought you were talking about. I was like the
Mhm.
outfielder.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Claw, Joey and Nick both went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
Remember the first part of his career, probably the first 8 years, he couldn't play 100 games in a season,
Yeah.
right? He walked around at 5% body fat, right? He looked like a cut from marble Greek god.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he figured out how to do that, but walk around at 10% body fat. And every year after his age 30 season, he played at least 150 games. I say that because the Bosas walk around like that as well. The thing is, you need a little bit of fat to pad things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the Bosas don't have hardly any. So I think it's a combination of just like, one, whenever you see a team get hit with injuries, like the Chargers have been one of those kind of snake bitten injury teams too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the strength and conditioning program. It is, right? But also I think it's just them not preparing themselves on their own time for that 17-game season. You can look great, but you look at a guy like Myles Garrett or Aaron Donald, remember,
Oof.
they like, especially Aaron Donald, who took contact every single play
Yeah.
and was dominant every single play. And he prepped that way, right? And Aaron Donald looks like a light-skinned Hulk,
Yes.
right? Like he did. But it's just it's how you prepare yourself. And Aaron Donald took that seriously. Myles Garrett takes that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how Myles Garrett gets 3 sacks in a game and immediately he does the press conference, he gets his sweats on, he sits down, and then someone knocks on the door and it's the NFLP test guy. Just like, Myles, we're going to need you to pee in the cup again.
I mean, look, if Myles Garrett is the guy that you want to go to for there, I understand, but he also has crazy size. And when you look at him, you're like, you look like a natty. You look like a natural guy.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude. He puts on, look, like you said, these are NFL athletes that have NFL strength and conditioning people. They have nutritionists. They have their own personal nutritionists. There's no reason to believe that this man does not know how to lift properly to gain that kind of muscle. I asked the question about the Bosas because generally when you start looking at players with certain kinds of injuries, especially tendon injuries,
soft tissue,
you start to go, are you juiced?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we haven't seen players in the modern era. The juice era is the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Into the early 90s, I'd say.
Yeah, I'll give you that. There's some super looking juice dudes. But when you think about, what was that guy's name played for the Houston Texans? The middle linebacker. I can't think of his name. Went to SC. Crazy as fuck. Number 50, I believe, for the Houston Texans. In the aughts, he played for him. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I do know who you're talking
White boy.
about. Yeah.
Crazy as hell.
It's gonna bother
Just
me.
juiced out of his mind.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bosas did.
Yeah. They kind of come off a little juice heading. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, dude, again, they're really reinforcing the Ohio State players are dumb stereotype, defensive players, because if it's not MAGA coming out of their mouth, it's
Brian Cushing. Thank you.
It was N-word with a hard R,
Mm.
which both Bosas were very frequent users on social media have said.
I don't, and I don't doubt they're probably difficult people to have as teammates. They seem to get along. They've been in both those teams their entire time, right? San Francisco and San Diego, 2 places where if you really do, if you hate N-words, being in San Diego is pretty safe. There's like 5, and most of them are on your team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't San Diego in the same district that Duncan Hunter represented, both senior and junior?
It's not the most racially diverse. There's Latin people and there's white people, and then there is a good amount of Asians, but there's just no black people. Once you leave Los Angeles County, it's like, good luck finding some black people. But I don't know. They kind of.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't P-test Myles Garrett, man.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's happened to him like 3 times the last 2 seasons, and it's like, bro, how often does this guy have to piss in a cup for you to just get through your heads that he's clean? Now, if I suddenly sign an NFL contract and I run for 200 yards, yes, test me, because I did in fact juice.
I was on everything under the sun. And you know what? You can't get that fucking win back, team, that I ran.
Can't take that 200-yard win away from me. Can't do it. Matt,
hell no.
Matt, last time you were running the 40, we clocked you in at 6.3 seconds, and suddenly you're running a 4.4? Yeah, bitch. Training.
I was training again. I found out my steroid piece comes out this month.
Nice, bro. Nice.
I'm excited about that. Steroids is a thing, man, and it's a thing with young people, and there's a culture around it, and it's so. I don't know if you ever watch. Do you ever watch these guys? There's a guy that goes around. I can't remember his name right now, and he goes up to these IFBB pros, weightlifting, bodybuilding pros, and goes, natty or not. And the older ones will be like, why? The younger ones usually, I'm on trend.
Yep.
I'm on Anavar. They have no problem. There's kids. I watched an interview with 18-year-olds, Mac, that did not look massive. They look like regular size 18-year-olds that probably played sports. And the dude goes, Are you taking any gear? And goes like, Yeah, I'm taking Tren. He's like, Are you seeing any? He goes, I'm losing some hair. You're 18 and you're already losing hair?
I
And
mean,
you're gonna tell me Joey Bosa
yeah.
is just not gonna?
Yeah. See, the thing is, Bose is probably using, but he can afford to have like the Elon Musk hair treatment, you know?
Or they're taking something like Test or Anavar or
Yeah, I mean, the thing is when I was in the military, I had commanders that openly said that, you know, if you are in combat arms, you should be juicing. We should all be on a steroid.
really.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to think you're carrying a lot of weight, moving long distances over a long period of time. Like for me, no, there's too many negative health effects down the road, right? And that might be okay for like someone that does one enlistment, but like I was in for 16 years, dude. I'd have no testicles right now. I'd have less hair than I do. You know, I probably would still get back knee.
Yeah, you'd
You
have
know,
more in places you don't want it, like your back and your ass. Yeah.
yeah, you know, but like to your point though, there's a couple like weightlifters that I see on TikTok, like you know, like fitness influencers that you know will act like they'll do the same shit, and then the guy will be like, no, 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 and then they'll do like a follow up video where he's like, well, you know, I cycle this, and it's like, dude, you know, it's kind of steroids is like part of the vernacular now, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I find fucking nuts, man. Because, you know, I was on a fucking antidepressant to help with, you know, my horrible depression that I had. And, you know, it had side effects. Like there are antidepressants, you know, that affect your ability to like get a boner,
Yep.
right? So what do? They give you Viagra as well.
Yep.
Well, what they don't tell you is after so many years of taking said antidepressant, you'll just stop getting boners, period, because it's
Mhm.
built up in your system. And I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. Fuck that. I was like, I'm not taking this medication anymore. You know, there are two high schoolers at my gym that abuse steroids. They're going to, yeah, dude, poor form, poor diets, and too much caffeine. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, Prairie, is like, it is so prevalent and easy to get now. And the stigma is kind of gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
Right.
The stigma has been evaporated.
Like,
It's no longer there.
I've applied to get testosterone replacement treatment because, like, I'm older than 40
Mhm.
and my body doesn't produce it
Nope.
anywhere near as much as it used to,
Not
right?
even close. Yeah.
And TRT in a controlled manner helps with like sleep patterns,
Mhm.
weight loss,
Your depression?
boners, depression. Like, it, dude, there's something to having it administered by a licensed physician, you know, um, and it'll help me get fucking yoked, which is the goal here. And I need to get yoked before I start juicing so I can get that 1-day NFL contract and run for 200.
You could if you end up taking it. I was close to because you know it's cheaper here, and I was close to trying to get some, and then I interviewed a guy for the article that I know that actually did juice for a while after he was done professionally as a professional bodybuilder, and I asked him about it, and he said something to me that really kind of fucked my head up. And this man is in his 60s and is still ripped,
Mhm.
still trains beat Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He still has like a hot wife. um he goes, I want to feel 62. I don't want to feel 25. And that really struck a chord with me. That was like, I want to, and everybody's different, right? I don't have severe depression. I didn't go overseas for 16 years. And, you know,
It felt that it fucking felt that way, every bit of it, you know?
like that's different. Everybody's not going to be the same. And I'm not really going to shit on people that get it, because I understand it is depressing when you hit a certain age and you stop producing that shit. But trying to exercise on my own without it, I don't even take pre-workouts or anything.
Oh, no, pre-workout makes my skin tingle, and I don't like that. Essentially I take collagen and protein, and that's about it. In a like a multivitamin, because I'm realizing I probably should have started taking those a long time ago. But yeah, like for me, it's just like, my joints are shot. I've had 2 back surgeries,
Mm.
and I walk around in constant pain, right? And that weighs on you. And then, TRT helps. It won't fix the pain, right? But it also allows better blood flow to the affected areas where I've been cut on, or that are just, I mean, dude, my knees are held together with like duct tape and chewing gum right now.
Oh,
So
dude, if you did it tomorrow, you're gonna feel like $1,000,000.
yeah, but I get that. Like, I am 43 years old. I want to feel 43, like I
Mhm.
think I've earned that. I just don't want to feel like I'm 83 right now, which is how I feel, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to all of it, and it has to be weighed by that person again with the help of a licensed physician, and not your fucking douchebag friend that listens to Rogan all day.
Oh,
I think
just
that's
double the dosage, bro. It's fine.
yeah,
Just double the
you know.
dosage.
I'm a libertarian that likes pot and fucking steroids, and I want to hear both sides, but I'm only going to have Pete Hegseth and Elon on this week to talk for 4 hours a day.
It's totally just TRT.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, look, we've gone long enough. Mac, you got to get some rest. Thank you very much for hanging out with me.
I don't know.
Hmm?
I don't know if you know about me, Joe Rogan. I smoke rock. One of the best skits from that show was Tyrone Bigsby just, I'm just trying to get that money for that crack, man.
Yeah, this is true. Very healthy levels of TRT with good conditioning can extend your joints life. That's the only thing I work on is my joints and my hips.
Dude, I've realized that me doing yoga twice a week has been phenomenal. Not only is my balance a lot better, but like just the core strengthening is great. And granted, I'm not like going to a studio or anything. Like I literally just typed in yoga for beginners in YouTube, and this weird lady popped up, and she was like, "Namaste. So you want to start doing yoga?" And I was like, "Fuck, she's talking right to me," But like, dude, she walked me through how to get in all the poses and shit. Man, it was totally worth it. So
But
now,
if she looked like this, maybe
no,
I'd
dude,
subscribe.
she doesn't look like that. She's got like the flattest of butts.
If she had this, this,
I mean, I'm more of the Bryce Dallas Howard,
this,
like
and more
that.
of this.
Yeah, I
Be
need
this
that
guy
set.
all day long.
I need the 7-layer Tre Leche cake.
You need the 7-layer. But it's a 7-layer cake.
I need all that cake, Jason. I need it.
You said you were going to eat all the cake.
Oh,
$15 for the goddamn cake.
I'm going in. I'm just. The fuck is wrong with us, man?
We were pretty good today. We were pretty good
did.
today. I just wanted to show the butt chart. I will be back tomorrow morning with the return of MT, and we're going to talk about thug maxing.
What the hell is thug maxing?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I will be listening while I traipse about the dealership tomorrow.
Oh man, I'm gonna make sure to say ridiculous shit to make you laugh.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be funny when MT's just like, Jason, I did not come on for this, and you're like, oh, but you did.
OMT.
You've been gone.
Did you know?
You've been gone too long.
No, chocolate child.
My sweet, sweet chocolate child.
My sweet Haitian chocolate child. Little did you know.
Jason's going to be up to shenanigans.
Look at this fool prairie. Thanks for the butt chart. Now you can love it. It's so funny because he thinks that I'm not being serious.
Jason was like, you ever suck dick for a meal? I did yesterday. I was like, can I get one of those burritos? The guy's like, I got a tube steak. And Jason's like, you got to do what you got to do. Let's go.
Fuck, man. But I'll be full for a day and a half. And then after that show with MT, later that night, the regular time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be talking with Cedric Johnson about the flaws of Cedric Robinson's Black Marxism. So that's going to be an even better show. It's going to be all Negroes all the time tomorrow.
Those are like my favorite shows.
All Negroes all the time.
I mean, I learn more than when you get like that token white dude. And I'm not saying you per se or your show, but like I like how I'll watch something like about like I watched something I don't know if you saw, but like the Black Panther museum's opening up.
Yeah. In Oakland.
Yeah, and they had like a white dude that was like talking about the history of the Panthers and shit, and everybody was just like,
Who was it a show or was it actually at the museum?
they did like a little like opening and they talked about like Marxism in local communities and stuff. They were just like little like 10, 15-minute little things, like roundtable things, which I thought was pretty cool. All Negroes everywhere all at once. That's a movie I'd watch.
One white woman's in it.
Yeah, she's her name's Abigail, so you know she racist as fuck. Not a lip on her face.
That poor white woman is in that movie, and it is not what you think it is. It's not a black version of the Oscar winner. No.
Prairie, what show are you like watching right now? You're not getting canceled, bro.
Like, oh, you're not getting canceled. You know, it's funny. I had a white girl on the show the other day on the show, and in the champagne room, she asked this question. It was so funny, and she was being cheeky a little. And it was a dating show, and so in the champagne room, we took calls, and in between calls, she was like, "Are black guys' dicks really that much bigger?"
Okay.
And so, you know, you get to a point when you're doing this show in particular, and you're like, what does Tony Red always say? There's the line, and then TIR blows right past it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's not like, and we're saying this amongst friends.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not being serious. The only thing we talk seriously about here is the butt chart. Other than that.
But yeah. That girl was not seriously going to start inspecting cocks.
She might be a rig looker. You know?
Like the one at the truck stop you're at.
You guys just reminded me, apparently Kurt Menefee, who is one of the hosts of Fox NFL programming, he actually pressed Eric Adams on Wake Up New York. What?
About him saying Negroes? Really? Oh, fuck. See, here's the thing. Because
can I be the guy that says I'm not surprised Eric Adams referred to black folks as Negroes?
I just want to be the guy that they talk to about this. I never get that call. I never get that call. Maybe because of the butt chart, I'll get the call and someone can, but it'll be like a fuck.
I think a lot of times we don't get the call. It goes back to pog chasing MLK. I think that might have something to do with it.
Fair.
Or it could be maybe we had a more militant following, and then we had, you know, Malcolm as pog chaser, MLK's wingman. You know, like
fair.
Or Martian Luther King.
Martian Luther King is my favorite.
Or Indigya hard N-word, you know, hard R.
Indigenous.
Right.
I
think there's a few things people can pull from why we don't get phone calls about
true story before we go. I want to tell this to Mac before he goes. He's going to sign off and go to sleep. I don't respond to every comment. I'm trying to get a little better about responding. Even if people are mad, I'm trying to get better with just a simple response if it's possible. And this one lady goes, I was really on board with this show, but you said not liking Puerto Ricans. What is that about? I need context. And it was a show with Catherine Liu. And I know Catherine Liu very well, so I feel comfortable being ridiculous with Catherine Liu.
Yeah.
If you were to hang out, if you had a secret camera with Jason Miles and Catherine Liu, you guys would be like, we have the best buddy cop show in history right now. These two fools running around Irvine making fun of everybody. Oh my God, this is great. So I felt comfortable talking shit with her. And I would assume that everyone that watches that would know that I'm not being serious. So I had to write a very nice response to that woman that we were making fun of the ADOS movement. And I have nothing against Puerto Rican people, very fine people. Whatever I wrote, I just felt I was writing it and I just heard Donald Trump's voice.
Oh yeah,
Puerto Ricans, very fine people.
It's a beautiful island. I like to
throw. Mac, I erased so many lines about island and the beautiful Afro-Caribbean culture. I wrote so much stupid shit. And it ended up being like, I love Puerto Ricans. Have a nice day.
It's when you're like, Carlito's my favorite wrestler. Have a good one.
I was trying to name Puerto Ricans, and all I could think of was white people that play Puerto Ricans. I love Puerto Ricans. Al Pacino is my favorite Puerto Rican.
It's just like, I was in a conversation, like when we were talking about like indigenous representation in like movies and TV shows and stuff. And this guy I was talking to like kept bringing up like all these Italians that were casted as indigenous people in the movies. And I'm like, Italian. And he's like, and he's just like, and he, of course, he uses a slur to describe Italian people. You know,
I think I know that slur.
The one that begins with a D.
That one. We won't say that one either. None of them.
No, not a one. He's like, since when did all these D's get these Indian parts? You know, I'm like, oh my god, dude. I mean,
I would have fell out laughing,
bro. I was dying, right? And he was like, he's like, I know for a fact that the woman who voiced Pocahontas in the movie was an Indian. I'm like, that's Irene Bedard, and she is. She is in fact.
Was she? Oh, I didn't know.
She is in fact native. I was like, good job. 1 out of 10. You know, you're not really good at this. Not really good at this, dude. You don't get the calls because they are keeping the black man down. Now you have $31. Puerto Ricans are fine. Most, I assume, are good people. Not the best people, but fine. Jason.
Read the comment on the show, too. If you would have seen how many times I was trying to say something really nice, like I couldn't. Every time I was just like, and the other black people are Caribbean, and they come from a very lush, colorful island of Haiti. I couldn't. They're very fine people. I love Puerto Ricans. Thank you for your baseball contributions. Thank you for Jennifer Lopez between 1994 and 2005.
After that, you can take her back.
After that, you can have her. Thank you for Mark Anthony. I don't know how I feel about reggaeton right now. Right?
Bad Bunny's pretty cool.
Bad Bunny's okay, but apparently he's problematic.
Oof.
Oof. I just, you know, I didn't want that person to think that I really had some Asian lady on here. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Fuck the Puerto Ricans. I don't know why. Just fuck them. That's why.
Don't want to be a state?
Yeah, hey, you don't want none of me. Hey. You know what's funny? My neighbor can't hear you guys on the other end. So he probably thinks I'm a horrible racist now. He just moved in.
Oh, dude, yeah, probably.
I'm going to have to tell him because he goes, what do you talk about on your show? I goes, you know, stuff.
You know, Puerto Ricans?
He's Mexican, so maybe he thinks I'm just a weird racist. Like, man, that guy next door sure is specific.
Man, that black guy.
Jesus Christ. Got a colored fella living next door to me. Man, he's just going off and off about Puerto Ricans. Better not say anything about us Mexicanos. Might have to shoot him. Oh, he's a veteran too, by the way, Mac.
Oh, he got out of the country smart before we all. I mean, I don't know if you saw 80,000 personnel from the Department of Veterans Affairs are getting fired, including doctors, nurses, mental health professionals. You know, the shit we kind of need.
You know, I watched a little bit, and I'll say this, and I keep saying Mac's got to go. Poor Mac is going to kick me in the balls when he sees me again.
Nah,
I will say I watched.
I'm gonna spit in your fruity non-alcoholic drink that I bring you. It's like Mac. I could see the loogie. Drink it,
There's a
Jason.
booger in it.
Drink it.
Drink it before I call you a Puerto Rican. I watched this much of Trump's speech, and I came in at the trans part, and I was like, the trans shit killed the Dems, and you didn't have to say anything else about it. But going so hard it's gonna be a lost cause because people don't care. The people that care about that are in the minority. They're not the majority. The way you think they care about it, and all this cutting of shit of your bases. How many right wingers that love Trump are in the military?
Exactly.
How and you're cutting that service and have the audacity to say, I support the troops. I love the troops. Nice troops. Best in the world.
But also talking shit about us because we can't win a war.
You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth forever. And don't act like you're in office because you're so wonderful.
Yeah.
It's not really why.
It was.
So it's going to be a real interesting, disengaging next 3 years because I think a lot of people are just going to disengage.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're going to unplug. And the thing is so today I got a message from one of the guys that typically delivers new vehicles to the lot. And he said, I just did a pickup in Canada and I got stopped at the border. GM's not allowing anything to be trucked over the borders from Mexico or Canada right now. They're just going to sit on them, stockpile it. The only thing essentially coming in right now are Traxxas and Trailblazers because they're assembled completely in South Korea. And I was like, holy shit, dude. I was like, what does that mean for you? He's like, I literally can't unload the trucks I have loaded up on my hauler right now. So I'm going to lose work.
Ooh.
If you know what a Maroni label is, that's the big window sticker.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you the breakdown, like legally, they have to tell you where this vehicle is assembled, where the parts, the big parts, the engine, the transmission, shit like that, right? Where it's coming from. And then there's the price, right? With all the bells and whistles, what you're paying for. I got like 40 of them in the mail. General Motors has already instituted price hikes from the 24 model year to the 25 on every model.
Really?
A Traverse High Country went up by $600. The RS and the Z71 models went up by $300, and the base model, the LT, went up by $200. So that was like a preemptive price raising. Mm-hmm. Prepping for this. Mm-hmm. I mean, about 6 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock, I guess the CEO of Stellantis, General Motors, and Ford all had a conference call with POTUS, the big orange Cheeto, and he's going to give a month like, hey, I won't put the tariffs on automotives for a month, right? But this can change day to day. So if you think for 1 second that Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors aren't going to just start raising prices across the board, you're fucking out of your mind. And considering that there are only 5 models out of any car maker in the United States that you can get for under $30,000 new, oof, like this is going to hit people real hard,
real fucking hard, dude. It's Daniel Bessner tweeted out today. He goes, "It's hard to believe when you're watching America right now that we were ever a world power."
Yeah.
It is. I don't want to end on a sad note, but
no. Let's just think butts before.
Here, let's end just before we go. We can't end on a sad note.
No, we learned
butt chart.
What Jason enjoys in the butts. We have a visual representation of what Jason's looking for. That 1980s leotard
right here.
butt.
Right here. This.
Right.
Of course, Bryce Howard. That's always the winner.
I mean,
I can deal with this.
I'm telling you, Jason, look for pictures of her doing PR for the last Jurassic Park movie, and you'll see her in all her caked up glory. And
watch this movie called Whore from 1991 with Teresa Russell.
Dude, I am a busy man, and if I looked up whore on my browser, just weird things are going to pop up.
Just write Whore Ken Russell because it's a real movie. It's not a porn movie; it's a real movie.
Will I see some boobies?
Yes. And you'll see all this cake. Teresa Russell's caked.
Dude, I like that 7-layer cake. You know,
You're gonna not a 7-layer. You're gonna get like fucking what's that place? Did you have Baker Square?
no.
Did you have Sambo's where you grew up? You didn't have that restaurant, Sambo's?
Southern Ohio had some Sambos, yeah.
Yeah.
Which tracks? Because Southern Ohio is just northern Kentucky. So
Death Spa is a movie that I have watched several times. It's for free on YouTube. So yes, I do know Death Spa. But watch this movie, Mac, and you will see Teresa Russell cake, and you'll be like, Jason, thank you for letting me see that much cake.
I will.
I had no idea I was going to get caked out on a fucking Wednesday night.
Hey, you know what? If there's a night to be caked out, it's a Wednesday night.
It's a Wednesday night. Thank
It's
you,
hump
guys.
Day. It's hump day. It's midweek. Get caked out.
Hey, get caked out. Here's the butt chart. Now you guys know where to look, what you're looking for. We know what a long butt is now. We know what. Look, no go. The no go is up top here. That's the no go.
That's the
right?
just the extended hamstring, if you will.
Extended hammies is a no go. This is a yes. I say yes here. Mac is indifferent. And this is kind of the quintessential long butt right there. Bam. Bam. Back into the left.
Jason's just still getting boners off the stuff he got his first boners over. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
There you go.
I understand now, and I get it.
Yeah.
I will not give you shit about it. Now that I understand the psychology of it, you know, you're still trapped in that, 10-year-old Jason just wanting that long butt.
Just want this, you watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii. You're like, I don't understand anything I just saw. They had an exploding frisbee, but
I'm fully erect right now.
Yeah, there's so many long butts and ninjas.
Yeah.
That's all I want. That's all I want in my life.
It's long butts and ninjas.
Long butts and ninjas. If I can find a woman that wants to enjoy those things with me, then
Next week we're gonna be recording and like a fucking ninja star just flies past Jason.
Somebody call.
Guys, it's my new ninja roommate. I'm just waiting on that long butt now.
Tony said it was the ninjas that did it. Thank you guys. And we are out. I swear we are.